But but Chijioke, the main thing is that you have to introduce yourself first. Tell me what all are you doing? You're doing so much in Nigeria.
I'm doing so much. I'm doing so much, Vikram. So much, and yet the rewards are little. I'm doing, I'm doing so much. I'm almost at my wit's end. I'm doing so much, but I thank God for having people like you and having people like other mediators who are interested in what I do. Then let's wait for the rewards to come in to make for us to create a sustainable legacy. Well, my name is Chijioke Ibeku. Chijioke Nana Ibeku is my name. I'm a lawyer. I'm 20 years post call. I'm as well a counselor, an author, and a certified mediator. Of recent, which you know, I mean, I guess many people in the mediation world know about that. I've written 2 books. One on mediation called the Handbooks on the Contemporary Phases of Mediation, and the other one on understanding the basic principles of property management. And as strange as it may sound, I tried in that book, the one on property management, to elucidate the importance of mediation in property management. Yep. Because a lot of issues we have in property management, because if you check it, the beginning and the end of property management is a man or woman makes an investment, he or she expects a yield, a return. So if it doesn't come by, eventually goes to litigation. So I wrote that book with behind my mind to know that mediation can also come in very strongly in property management. And I always reach out to most of our contemporaries, most of our colleagues, to try and see how they can get on that book.
I think that's a very good thing. Yeah.
I must say, Vikram, you're doing a very wonderful job in your space. They are connecting with so many mediators. I don't even know how you do it. But all I can say is God's grace and thumbs up, and keep it going. And the way we in our own spaces can support you, I'll be willing to do that. I remember many months ago when I started off on this, you were amongst my first guests, and you inspired me a lot. Thank you for having me, Vikram, and I look forward to a very wonderful discussion.
No, Chijioke, I was actually that many months back, when we met. I mean, the point is, I saw that you were trying to do something, make a change, and that really makes me happy. Really makes me happy that someone is trying to promote mediation and just getting people together. That's the main thing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vikram.
Because you had those friends of yours on that call, and you were trying to explain to them what is mediation, and it was a good experience. So have they understood now? Have your friends understood what is mediation?
They've understood to the extent, but I'm not going to be pretentious about it. These things cost. Whatever you give out from inside has to cost something. The only thing, like I tell them, mediation is not charity. We have to pay a little. But now everywhere is so down economically. Even those of them that I'm sure they are very interested in doing the mediation cannot even afford to pay the money I say pay for it. So what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to seeing, okay, if eventually, as I try to promote my project, which you are aware of, the one on peer mediation, as I try to promote it and I get, by chance and by God's grace, I get sponsors. I would also like to kind of, from the money that will trickle in from there, use it to also promote mediation, not only peer mediation, mediation generally. A lot of people want to have this knowledge, but they can't afford it. And for those of our colleagues in established clients where this has come cheap to, maybe they might not understand why somebody has to pay to attend the webinar. So they might not understand that. I don't know how to put that across to them. But for those of us in our own spaces here, we know you have to at least make some little consideration. But until we get to that point, we just keep waiting and believing that we'll finally create an indelible legacy.
Well, that's why I decided that I will keep doing what I have to do. Because
you're doing well, thumbs up to you.
At the end of all my posts, I always put down there, if you think I'm doing some good work, send me something, send me a gift. So that, because look, I don't want to monetize this whole concept, and I just want to be out there getting people together. Because first of all, look, I enjoy it, because mediators, the people with the mediator mindset, as I see them, they're all wonderful people. It's just nice talking to them. It just feels good. So that's what I enjoy about it. And whatever, look, there is of course lots of work to be done. I mean, lots of work to be done. So whatever comes in, if funding comes in, look, I can put my time into it. So I put lots of time into it. Beyond that, I put it on my website also, that I have to explain to my wife and daughter also, why do I spend so much time promoting mediation? So it's a tough one. It is tough, but you have to do what you have to do, and you just enjoy it. So it's okay. But, but what about how are your children? How are your sons?
My children are doing very well. I'm sure they are wondering. And Daddy, you know all these people, you know all this. You have all these contacts. Then why are you stressed up looking for all this money alone when you're doing something that is open for everybody to see? And I tell them, well, as young children, I tell them, well, maybe it's the price I have to pay. But for you particularly, Vikram, for you, I don't know how I believe that most of these concepts you have is divinely guided. For you, Vikram, I must say thumbs up. And in my post on LinkedIn, I really say God's grace to you, because what you're doing is going to speak years after your generations to come. You're doing a wonderful work. I don't know how you're doing it, how you're connecting with so many mediators. I don't know how you're doing it, but however you're doing it, all I can say from my own little space is God's grace. And for those of us who can contribute in whatever manner we can by having a discourse with you, we'll make ourselves available. But you're doing a very great job, Vikram. I even thought I was doing something wonderful, but I dare say you're doing something most wonderful, because I don't know how you're connecting with over how many mediators around the world. And all I can say is God's grace, Vikram.
No, this is what I'm going to keep doing. I'm just going to connect with good
Thumbs
people.
up to you, brother. Thumbs up.
I mean, like I said, it's just so nice to see such nice people out there. I do understand, look, I do understand that in terms of practicing their profession, definitely the way it should have happened in all these years, mediation has not reached where it should have reached, because I feel that the way it was promoted or is being promoted by itself is wrong. I keep saying now, I was just talking to Shifat before you came in. I was just talking to her. I was saying, look, what we have to do is we have to go out into villages and ask them who are those people who are already helping you resolve your disputes. They will identify people. They will say X, Y, Z. They will give you names. So we will talk to them. We will make these small videos asking them, okay, do you practice this? How do you go about it? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? But a lot of them are doing it without getting any money. So why are you doing it? So we have these conversations. We can make small videos. Then we ask the people who are using them in those villages. We ask them, look, this person helped you resolve your disputes. What did they do? How did they do it? You will realize that the entire process of mediation, they can train you about mediation. They know so well because they are practicing it. So we have to bring it from there and then take it forward, rather than say that, whoa, this is mediation and why don't you use it? They're already using it. So this is how we will go about it. We'll just, it's going to be a slow process. We'll have to get a lot of people involved. You'll have to send people out. Look, what I've done is, one is the mediators collective. These are the people with the mediator mindset. The other side, I've made peacemakers collective. These peacemakers will go out into communities, into villages. They will ask people, like I said, what they will ask them. And then they will ask people who have disputes that why don't you use mediation? Then they will connect the mediators, the people with the mediator mindset who are already doing it in the village. They will connect those people with the people who have the dispute and coordinate the whole process. So they will become like a platform to do the entire process in that village. So they will be, well, look, I've been saying that don't ask for any specific amount. Say, look, pay what you want to based on what you feel you have received from the process. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do that for some time. Let them do that. Now with you also, this is the way it will happen, that you will create this whole thing and tell them, look, you can pay me what you want, but you will create this whole network of people. And then once this whole thing takes off, you will yourself see that you will see a change happening. So this is what I call the dispute resolution revolution. This is how what I say, that there is, the way we have to go about it is going to be very different from the way mediation has been promoted. We have to be able to make them use it, not just go and tell them. Not just tell them. What is the use of telling someone and walking off?
Mm-hmm.
This person will actually first look. You will be able to do, you will around your area, you will be able to do it yourself, to connect people together, they can use it. But then at the next stage, you will have to have a network of people, because the thought that you have, not everyone has. The way you want to, the enthusiasm, passion that you have to do it, not everyone has that. So this is the network of peacemakers you will create on one end, the mediators on the other end. And I'm telling you that the whole concept from the grassroots, when it takes off, you'll be amazed. You'll see the change. You'll feel so happy that you helped these people resolve this dispute. You'll be so happy.
I agree. Because, you know, sequel, follow up to what you said, if you remember our discussion some months, almost about 8 months ago or so, we were talking about community mediation. And when I was telling you, I have a program, I've mapped out a program where even you corrected me and said, why don't you use the word ambassadors instead of using the word advocate? Because then I had a concept of peace advocate. And you said that was kind of connoting litigation, if you remember. So I had to make an adjustment and said, okay, I'll rather address them as community peace ambassadors. So how does this program work really? What I intended, those of us, I will come to them if you remember our discussion, which I hold very dear to my heart. Our discussion has to deal with, we've always lived with mediation. Traditionally, we've always lived with mediation. Indians, Africans, I don't know about the whites, but Indians, Africa, we've always lived with mediation. So what are we trying to do basically? We are trying to modernize it as such. Now, you know, in communities, you have a lot of issues that if they take it a step further, would rather smear their relationships. You can't imagine two brothers in a community over a piece of land, two brothers from the same mother in a community having an issue over a piece of land and going to court. That enmity will run through generations to come. Yep. But with mediation, because mediation has as its advantage preservation of relationships. When you teach them to imbibe this process of mediation, you will see that most of these matters, once they end, they feel very happy that this is a party's process, that they contributed in making these matters end. And the relationships are preserved between brothers, among relations, and generations to come. Because whether we like it or not, we are lawyers, but we know that once we enter the courtroom and you're out of that courtroom, the relationship can never be the same prior to when you enter the courtroom. So now, sequel to what you are saying, if you remember, many months ago, we've had this discussion in a kind of manner. Then I said, yes, what we are trying to do in my own space is to introduce, because we've had mediation all this while, introduce this mediation and stay there and sit and monitor it. Because traditionally, we all have this mediation in our villages, in our towns, everywhere. So all you have to do is a bit of modernization, a bit of concept, you know, for them to see, okay, it's not longer, I'm sure the concept will be, okay, whatever you are deciding on, you're writing it down in form of a settlement agreement. It will no longer be done orally. There'll be something to bind them, to show, look at what you said 100 years ago. It's written in paper, black and white. So, you know, this is what we are trying to introduce. And when you do this, you see that a lot of issues will be settled because people in the community level, and I dare say in India, I'm sure, or most other developing countries, they do not have the wherewithal to pursue matters all the way in the courts. So mediation will be a leeway for them, really. Once you have these community ambassadors, how do these things work? You train a community ambassador. You won't expect me now to leave the capital where I am in Abuja to go to my village because I want to instill the practice of mediation. So what do? I just maybe take out a week or so, or 3 days, and go and train them. And you train these people, and you tell them, okay, this is how to run this program. You can communicate with me online on whatever challenges you're having. Then if it gets out of hand, I can say, okay, I'm traveling down again to make sure I'm on hand to handle some of these things. But if you follow this process, you notice that the way you train whoever the community ambassador is, peace ambassador is 3 months ago, will be different from how you train him presently, because you will have gathered some little knowledge. He won't need all your presence. He won't need you to be around all the time to put him through mediation. And you know, I sometime ago on LinkedIn, I raised a topic. I posted a chat. I said, I've come to realize that it will be very difficult to have a mediator who is not a good person. Yep. Because a mediator, it will be very difficult. I've chatted with a lot of mediators. It's as if you've known them, as if I've known them for 100 years. And I've just met them only. In fact, one of my sessions, a lady from Malaysia, her name is Intan Sari. She's a mediator. She asked another lady, I think it was Intan or some other, asked another mediator, George Harlin, whether he had known me all this while. And the man just said, sorry, I've only known Chijioke online. I've never even met him. I've only seen him online. So you see, that is the beauty of mediation. I think, and that gave me the impetus to write on the LinkedIn and say, mediation, I've come to realize that if there are 100 mediators, 90 or 95% of them are good people. Because mediation has to do with giving yourself another person. You know, you need to appreciate another person. You need to say, okay, if I were in this person's position, how will I look at this matter? That is empathy. And that is one of the strong points of mediation, being empathetic towards another person's cause. So you come to realize, even in our faith, in our different faiths, mediation speaks a lot to our faith. Because if you want the good of another, I'm sure there's no faith that says, do not pray for the good of Muslims, Buddhists, Christians, Jews, or the Jewish. Everybody wants the good of another. So you see how mediation in our own little space promotes it. You know, mediation is a wonderful practice. The one that really stunned me and made me laugh was the young lady's observation when she said, have you met Chijioke before? And the man said, no, I've only known him a few weeks online. So the guy said, sorry, the way you people talk as if you've known us forever. And I told her, well, that's the beauty of mediation. Because mediation actually comes with, you know, the mix of good people. And I'm very pleased to be in this practice.
Look, I tell you what you said, 95% of the people, I am saying that the people who have the mediator mindset, 100% are good people.
I'm telling you that.
How I put it, every mediator is a good person. Every good person can't be a mediator. Because it takes a certain something to be a mediator. It's not that just a good person. A lot of other things go to it.
I call it the mediation grace, the mediation gravitas.
Yes. So the other thing that I've seen is that, like, okay, you're talking about religion. I talk about spirituality. So that spirituality plays a very important role in mediation and with mediators. So that aspect also you will notice as you deal with people from all over the world, you will see that aspect is also a very important aspect which will come out. So that's why I'm saying they're all good people. They're all spiritual people. It's just nice connecting with them. I mean, just so nice. But
wonderful, really.
But this thing that you're doing in your village, I think is a very good thing. Just because that'll be one. How you have to do, Chijioke, is one dispute-free village you have to create. Once that one dispute-free village is created, that will be the model. Look, I've done this. Now this can be taken to every part of Nigeria. I've understood exactly what are the issues involved, what is the traditional part of it, how you've used the traditional part of it. You've used people who are already doing that. So because I'm telling you, look, the point is that training someone can't happen. You can't be trained to be a mediator. It has to come from within you. It just comes from within you.
Right, it has a passion. I call it the mediation gravitas.
Yeah, exactly.
The calling, really. For me, I feel it's a calling. It's a divine calling. That's what
exactly,
I feel it is.
Exactly. And that is something you can't put into someone. You can't just go there, I'll give you an injection and now suddenly you've got it. No, it's going to be something that a person either gets as he goes about life. So that is why we have to take it in a totally different way. And people will understand that. I'm telling you, Chijioke, they understand that if you take it from that end. But if you take it from this very formal thing, mediation, I'm bringing to you, they will say, oh, I don't know what Chijioke is talking about. It doesn't happen in our village. He must be doing it in Abuja, but it doesn't happen here. So whole idea behind the symposium was this, that we have to bring this out. We have to bring out to people that this is part of your life. You've been doing it. It's happening traditionally in your villages, everywhere. You just have to understand that this is something that you can take forward. You don't have to give it up. Point is that we like to give up old things. No, this is an old thing you have to keep with you. This is what is required. But interesting thing, Chijioke, the other thing that has come out with discussions in the symposium is that as societies have moved from their rural background to the urban background, things have changed there in the way society is structured. So that has also made a difference in people giving up this collaborative way of dispute resolution. I don't know whether you've noticed that in Nigeria or not.
Well, that's the truth, really. But, you know, that is why those of us in our spaces have to keep up that spirit. You know, like I say, mediation is mediation. Mediation is mediation. A few weeks ago, I had, last week, Saturday, I had a mediation session with a doctor from Uruguay. And I didn't understand a word of what she was saying. She was speaking in Spanish. I was in English. You understand? Was from her passion alone. Her passion alone, she was talking on health mediation. And health mediation is a very unique, for me, and I believe for most mediators, it's a very unique process of mediation. But you could see, there's an extent that somebody relates something to you, you might not understand what the person is saying. Just like music. Yeah. There's a song that might be playing. It might not be it might not be in English, it might not be in my native language, it might be in there, but it will get me dancing. That lady's take on health mediation got me so passionate about what she was saying. So mediation is dynamic. That's what I'm trying to say, basically.
But did you record that or not?
Pardon?
Did you record that session or not?
I did. Funny, I will send it to you. I did.
Put it up. Haven't you made a YouTube channel? You made a YouTube channel.
I did. I'll put it on my. I'll put it there. I'll put it. I was waiting for her to send a When she told me it wasn't possible for her to translate. So I told her not to bother. We just put it out in his face like that.
Exactly.
Yes. On my own part, I have the translator. That when I talk to some of them from over there, if I say something in English, it translates and sends to them. So in follow up to your question, mediation is very dynamic. We just can't keep it, even though yes, it's moved out from the traditional setting, but there is a core of mediation. What is the core of mediation? We have to keep our eyes on the core, on that gravitas, on that what that mediation is, the essence of mediation. Whether it has moved from the traditional setup to the urban setup, there's a core, and we all have to, as mediators, we all have to hold on to the core. What is that core? The core is making sure that people have a win-win situation in whatever matter of dispute comes between parties.
Because my main thing is that the communication that has to go out is so simple. No technical aspect to it, nothing in the language that people understand. I'm telling you, it's so basic. It is one paragraph. That's all it is. What are you have to telling them? That someone helps you resolve your dispute. That's it. And he doesn't make a decision for you. It's so simple. It's just one paragraph of conversation. But in that paragraph, there is so much that people will understand that, yes, this is something that is around us. Yes, the so-and-so does it. We have been doing it. So all those things have to be brought out so that they understand that it is coming from them. And they know the entire process, everything is known. But what I was asking you is that now, supposing now when you say go to your village and you see, are there people that you have noticed that elders or anyone people respect and they go to them to help them resolve the disputes? Are there people?
Why not? Just like in a community setup, for those of us, I'm Igbo, of Igbo extraction in Nigeria. So we have a traditional setup where you have matters between disputes which are settled by the chiefs. These chiefs do not know jack about mediation, but they practice it. So what are they practice it to forestall you from going to the court. They don't want the family member, they can't stomach seeing a family member taking another family member to court to resolve a dispute when they are there. In fact, there is a fine. They place fines on people who take their siblings or their relations to court. Okay. They have a fine. If you take your relation or sibling to court over a matter that they feel they can resolve, you'll be fined for that. In fact, there are some matters that have even gone to court prior to them getting involved. They'll tell you to withdraw the matter. If you do not withdraw the matter, you'll be ostracized. These are people that do not even have the techniques of mediation, if I may say, the new knowledge of mediation as we practice it now. But they have that traditional nature of mediation, and they run after it, and they are really succeeding at it. But now, they are succeeding at it. But now, like for instance, from my own village setup, I told them there was a particular time. I said, okay, yes, you're doing this for benefit of experience and for an enduring agreement. When you get to this point of reduce it to writing, because the memory can oral evidence could be given up for another thing. Reduce it into writing. The only stage they've done all these things we do, the only thing that they've not reduced it into writing. And that is what in my face, if they come to me and they seek my opinion, I say, okay, most people are literate these days. No matter how, just coin something and say, so, we agreed, so, this is how we reached an agreement. And they write it and reduce it into writing. And you see that relationships are preserved.
No, but I'm thinking, Chijioke, but I've noticed now, basically, this is something we have to be very careful about, because these chiefs now, to a certain extent, they are telling them what to do. So they're not pure mediators. They might be attempting, okay, why don't you settle it, telling them to settle it,
That's
but after that point, when they cannot settle it, they might be telling them this is what you do. So what happens is that people might understand, if you say the way it is done by chiefs, they might understand, look, the chief has tells us what to do. It is not that he is facilitating a process. So
aha.
what has happened is, over time, as whatever development has happened, people have moved out into, like I said, to urban areas. So for those people, they don't want to be told what to do. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to tell them that, look, one part of what the chief was trying to do is that he was trying to tell you to settle it amongst yourselves. So take that part. Forget the part that the chief tells you what to do. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So if we can concentrate on that, and we can tell them, look, this aspect of it is something you can do yourself. You can work out with someone else. If the chief does it, not a problem. If someone else does it, go to someone else. There might be elders in the village or whatever. So they have to understand that difference, because they are in a way put off with this whole concept of telling them that this happens in your village because chief does it. For them, in their mind, it stays, they are told what to do. And now today, Chijoke, even your children don't want to be told what to do. No one
Of
wants to
course,
be told.
you have a point. You have a point, Vikram. In fact, thank you for that observation. I almost even forgot it. You know, I don't know whether this is peculiar to Africans or to, in short, I think to most human beings generally. You know, a human being that feels he's endowed with authority, if he's not very careful, might bastardize that authority. So some of these chiefs, they do not see themselves as facilitating the process. They see themselves as being the god of that situation.
Yeah, yeah,
And you know, once the parties that have this issue see that somebody wants to be a god of that situation, they become recalcitrant. So your advice now comes in very, very your advice becomes very expedient, because like I will tell them, take that part that seems to want to settle the matter. And also advise the chief, like when I have opportunities to do like
yeah,
that, or the elder, to say,
yeah.
you're just a facilitator. You're not, if you want this thing to work, remove yourself from the process. Do not see yourself as a demigod. You're just a facilitator. These people, you're only guiding them to reach a decision.
And
You
tell
only
that,
let them like
yeah,
guide.
yeah, because what you have to, how, look, the chief also wants to see what is the benefit for the chief. So you have to tell him that, look,
Ah,
no, I tell you what, you have to tell them that, look, what has
good.
happened over time is no one wants to listen to you.
You,
Instead,
you know
if you,
where I'm coming from. You know, like you know where I'm coming from, because the chief actually sees it as a means of benefiting from them, either in terms of consideration or in terms of loyalty or in terms of whatever they want to benefit from the people. But I now tell them, look, you've already been made a chief. Let your if the local government is paying you, or you have a means of reward coming to you, let that be your reward. Let that particular matter before you not be a form of reward, because if it is, you're going to bastardize that process. So take away yourself from the process, keep your reward either from the government paying you or from your village people paying you. Let it not be from that particular matter, because if somebody sees, if any of the party sees that he's been he's been wronged, or he's been, he's been favored, another person is being favored over him, he will make sure he goes to the courts, and that eventually now defeats the process of what mediation is all about. So some of these traditional setups, unlike those of us who have been trained as mediators, is ego. Some of
yeah,
these people's ego come to play. They feel like the chief feels okay. Oh, this man, you finally before me, I will decide your matter. Not remembering that it's not the matter that you should be interested in. You should be interested in the process. But I think that's the vein traditionally we have in the practice of mediation. I'm sure you share the same vision in
yeah,
India too.
yeah. But I'm still going to go back to your chief. I am going to tell the chief that, look, what has happened is that people and society has changed. No one wants to
Yeah,
take orders from you, but
nobody.
instead, if you want to still keep your respect, then why don't you
Good,
facilitate the process for
good,
them? They will respect you
good.
because you actually
Yeah.
helped them do something. So your position is also there, and people will still look at you for coming to you for helping them resolve their disputes. So both the things get balanced out.
Yeah.
So right now, otherwise people will just say, no, we don't want to listen to you, because today legally or something they don't have to listen to the person. And with the way people
Mm-hmm.
have moved out of villages and they've moved into place, so some families there, some families outside, so within themselves also, if they have disputes, then they even don't consider what's happening in the village. But we have to bring the people who are in urban areas, we want to bring them, when the dispute happens with the family, that let us go to the village and let's sit with the chief and do it. You have to tell the chief that should be the situation, instead of the person sitting in the city tells the family in the village, go, I will take you to court, come to the court in
Yeah.
the city. So we have
Good. I
to,
like.
be able to do it in a different manner, where they also have keep their position, and the whole relationship within the families and everything also gets maintained. And I think this whole concept of egos and all coming in has to just stay out. I think there is a way out, Chijioke. We have to work with the changes that have happened. That
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. You're right, Vikram. You're right. You're right.
But otherwise, how are things in Abuja? Peaceful?
Things are okay. Things are okay. Just that the nation is in a mess. You know, we're in a mess where the economy is almost being grounded, plus the effects of the COVID. It's not as bad as or the consequence medically is not as bad as it is. Our clients, those of you in India or in America or wherever, it's not as bad as that in Nigeria. But the nation is in a mess, a terrible leadership. So that is what we are backward now. We're just hoping that 2023 comes and gives us a new ray of hope.
But otherwise, all that, those disturbances that took place, which was that SARS or SARS, what is it? End SARS or
Yeah,
something, that campaign and all.
those are the young people, protesting. They are protesting about the injustice going on in Nigeria. Nigeria is now, as it is one-sided. The man is not being fair, and I'm bold enough to say that the man is not being fair in his administration of the polity. He's just one-sided, and it's a very sad narrative. For me, I'm not surprised because when he came in, I'm not disappointed like most people say they are. I've always known that this is I always knew that this is the format it will play out. So I'm only just praying to God to spare us, keep us alive, give us what to eat, for us to eke out a living until 2023. It's a sad narrative for us in Nigeria.
Because it's sad that the young people are so. I mean, a lot of them are quite dejected with what's happening around. I hear a lot of them. They don't really. So they either can't leave, but they want to leave Nigeria. I hear a lot of that happening. They don't. I mean, it's sad to see that they're not happy. I mean, you want to see happy young people.
A lot of people, if I were much younger, in fact, I'm not even totally ruled it out. If I was much younger, I'll make an exit. I'm not even ruled it out now. If I have a mediation opportunity, if I have a good practice opportunity abroad that will take care of my children, my dependents, my extended relations, I'll make a move. I'll take that. The only thing is that for me, I'm a traditional person. I don't see myself staying out of my country for longer than 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm a traditional person. I'm traditional, and I'm the first son of my father and mother. So I'm a traditional person. I don't see myself closing my whole background because I want to make a better living. But I see myself taking out a leave and say, okay, for the next 1 month or two, let me go out and I'll come back. But I don't see myself living completely away from Nigeria. I don't think I'll function properly.
Yeah, but that is because you are the traditional person. You've grown up there and everything. But I'm just thinking from your children's perspective. From the children's perspective, they won't have that sense that, okay, I want to do. They'll be thinking how to get out.
They're even wondering, and even at times I think whether I'm becoming selfish in my thoughts. In my lonely moments, I wonder, am I being selfish? Because these children have their life to live. My first son by next year should be a graduate. He read geology. He's studying geology now. And geology offers him a worldwide of opportunities, international opportunities. So I don't see myself going to restrict him because I'm traditional. Because the basic thing is that what does the country offer them? I can't see myself going to build a refinery because I want to give him a job. I don't have that kind of funds. So he has to see how he can expand his own frontiers. So if you're expanding his frontiers, he's going abroad and bettering himself. Who am I to say no to that? So you see, Nigeria has kind of closed up opportunities for a lot of young people, and I feel for them. a lot of people are pained. And so that is why my project on peer mediation, and that is one of the things I wonder about some of these international donor organizations. When they see the real people who need these things, who belong to associations, they don't pay attention to those of us who are genuine, who have this concept. They go behind to the ones the government have packaged.
Yeah.
They go behind to people who have the government has packaged and give them donation. You understand? But if they can, the avenues for those of us who are preaching this, look, the gospel truth about it is this project I'm running on peer mediation has to be bought into, imbibed and practiced. The level of conflict is too high. The whole world completely, the whole world, and not to talk about even within us as Africans, even within, I'm sure in Asia, everywhere. So you have to get these children to appreciate mediation. You understand? If I had the wherewithal, I've run the race on my own. I've got I'm sure the setup in India is not too far away from Nigeria. You know what it takes. I've run the whole race to get an approval from the government to give me schools. Now the government has told me, look at the conditions for something they're not even giving me money to do. I'm offering them. I say, look at the conditions for you to make these things work. Imagine, I'm saying you're not even giving me 1 naira from you. I'm the one spending my money. This is for the good of all. So you see, that is the hindrance we have as Africans.
But what all are you doing?
Well, what can we do?
This peer mediation thing, what all are you doing that? What kind of activity?
Pardon?
Under your peer mediation project, what all are you doing?
Okay, apart from that, well, I'm still talking about the mediation practice. You know, going around, I write to a lot of offices, government offices, proposals, and tell them, why don't you come out for this training? Because I know that if I say come and train, do the sessions for me, they won't pay. One person cannot make that payment. So what I do is, okay, look, why don't you incorporate this as part of the policy in your office? Have a mediation provision. Have a clause, a mediation clause, provision in anything you're doing as an organization. If you before you go to court, why don't you explore this? So that's what I'm doing, writing to organizations and saying, okay, I can train you people with my partners abroad, some people like you or other partners abroad. I can train you people on this for you to have this knowledge. It's not all about money. If it's going to, don't think about tripling the amount. Just something that will enable me pay my expense, pay my staff, and be there myself for the number of days. You understand? And that is the road we're now. I'm hoping for. I've gotten some promising. I've done some promising meetings. I'm waiting for them to get back to me, and we'll take it from there.
But I just sometimes feel, look, the thing is that talking to these government offices and all takes so much time. It will waste so much time. Sometimes I don't think it's worth it.
Something else. The level of bureaucracy is something else. And I'm not as one gets older, one has to be more patient. The level of bureaucracy is something else. You can go there, you keep going and going and coming and coming. They say, come today, you come tomorrow, they come next tomorrow.
Exactly.
You keep going and keep going. And what can you do? That is the system, unfortunately. But if we can, by the grace of God, if some of our partners abroad can sponsor, kind of ignite the contacts abroad with donors to come in, we will have no need for these people, because we know that somebody abroad is paying for people to have this knowledge. And you know, like most of it, and I'm sure it's like that in your client, they are like hawks. They won't want to get involved now that you're doing it. When the thing is not complete, they will not want to lay a stake in it. If you're not very careful, they will push you out and say you're not even part of the process. I'll now have to be struggling. Vikram, don't remember me? I'm the one that wrote the proposal. They will have the way to see how they can get to me and push me out from knowing you and say, there's nobody like this now. We are the ones there now. And that is the unfortunate situation. They will not now bother and say, this man that has been on this project for the past 3 years, our 1 naira was not in it. He's gotten to this process. How do we promote him? Instead, what they'll be looking for is how to push you out and take the honor. You know, they're very mundane things. That is the unfortunate situation those of us in our clients are facing now.
So basically, when people see money in it, they'll all rush in, and then Chijioke will be at the background somewhere.
So right, my name will not even be attached to it. So the project you had known all this while that my name was attached to it. My name will push out. Proposal I managed to write somewhere. Before them, they could remove my name and put another person's name. That is a sad narrative, but that's unfortunate. That is the situation.
So that's what Chijioke, you have to be out there just doing it, creating the network. People should know that, yes, people have to see your work. Everything.
I'm trying as much as a human can do. I'm trying. Thank God for your program. like I say, what you're doing is a plus. And I'm so grateful you're having me on this because it also gives me an opportunity to air my opinion. It's a big plus. I don't know how you're doing it, but all I can say as a human being is God's grace for you to keep you up and keep up at it, and God's grace continue countenance. It's not an easy thing you're doing, my brother.
Thank you very much. Very nice to hear good words. It's always nice to hear the appreciation. It's always
doing well. You're doing well. It's a relaxing environment. We are cutting across mediation to the family, to the situation in the country. What more can be it's relaxing. It's very relaxing. I look forward to this kind of sessions with you in future.
But am I saying hi to your children or not? Are they? Do they come around say hi?
Come and say hello. Come and say hello to Vikram.
Yeah.
Come fast now. Come fast. Tricky, come and say hello. Don't bother about it. Don't come like that. Don't need to bother your shirt. It's good he sees you the way you are. Don't wear any shirt. Let him see the African nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hello. Hi.
I'm fine, sir.
Can you hear me or not?
I can hear you very much, sir.
Very good. So your father is doing so much work in promoting mediation. Have you been able to understand what he's doing?
I believe so, sir.
So are you going to be talking to the children in your school, your friends about mediation?
Yes, sir.
Have you done that already?
Yes, sir.
Have you done that or not? Have you
I have done that, sir.
So what do they say? So what do they say? What do they say? What do your friends say about mediation? And are you already, telling them what it is? How do you go about it?
They don't actually seem to understand it. So that's why I think he's trying to increase the inputs of peer mediation in Nigeria for us to be able to understand how to settle disputes between each other. So I think that is the main what will I call it? The main narrative of peer mediation.
No, but that means if within your friends, if there is a fight, is there someone out of your friends whom you go to who helps you resolve that fight?
Of course, sir. Yes, sir.
So what's the person? What is the person's name?
Their school. I've written to their school, but their school has not replied me on that.
No, Chijioke, forget the school. He has some person he will know, some person in their friends who they go to. So is there someone that you can identify that so and so in your friend is someone who helps you resolve your disputes? You know that person.
Actually, we call them peacemakers in our school, ambassadors who help like disciplinarians, or I don't know how to call them, but they help us in settling disputes.
No, but the thing is, one is that a disciplinarian is going to tell you what to do. But what about that some child in some friend of yours whom you go to that, okay, supposing there is a fight, we will go to that person, he will help us solve the fight. Let him sit, Chijioke. Why are you making him stand? Let him sit also. Very interesting. I would rather have a conversation with him. They are the future. They are the future.
Yeah, really. Relax.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What is your name? What's your name?
I can hear you very much, sir.
What is your name? You were hearing me now?
Yes, I can.
Now can you hear me?
No, hold on.
Yes, sir, I can.
What is your name?
My name is Tuchuku.
Tuchuku, tell me, within your friends, when you have a fight, is there some friend of yours who helps you resolve that fight?
No, sir. No, sir. We hardly have that.
And then you just keep fighting.
I think that is the main aim of actually trying to bring in. So I try to help them when certain situations come to play.
Okay, so you play the mediator. You become the mediator, is it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So then what do you do? How do you help them?
I understand that mediation is actually he's trying to play the third party in certain situations or disputes between people. So I try to let them air their opinions while I look into both of them. I'm trying to make sure that one doesn't feel feel less judged than the other. I think that is the major narrative involved in peer mediation.
Okay. Well, this is what your father tells you. This is the theory part of it. What about practically in your school with your friends? I really want to understand, because when I talk to children from all parts of the world, they tell me that yes, this is so and so person helps us do resolve our dispute. So and so has done it in this case, in that case. So there must be some example in your school also, or with your friends. I'm sure there is some example.
Okay. We could have a situation. Let me try using. We could have a situation, Mr. When my friend, maybe Mr. A, gets into a
Master A.
or Master A gets into a heated discussion with Mr. Master B, and I come in play as Master C, which means I come in play as the third party, trying to settle the dispute between both of them. And an example of that is that maybe
Is it?
Mr. A can be passing, or Master B, or Master A, sorry, can be passing and mistakenly matches Master B. And once Master B sees the match him, the admiral matched him, he gets angry and tries to put his venom on Master A. But you come in as the third party and try to play the role of a mediator by trying to settle the disputes between both of them. You can ask Master A, or you can try in that type of situation, you can tell Master A to be calm. Master B, sorry, in which the match to take his time and be calm. It wasn't really, in most cases of peer mediation are not really things that are done how will I put it? Are not really things that are done purposely. Mr. Master A can be passionate and mistakenly matches Master B, and Master B gets angry and tries to vent his venom on Master A. And in that situation, the mediator, therefore, or which means now I become the peer mediator in that. I try to settle the situation by me, Master A, and trying to make sure that none of them feel less judged in what I'm trying to settle.
But is there any specific example? Have you seen some example like that?
Okay, there was a situation where my friend matched someone who I don't really relate well with in class, matched him, and we're about to start. I think the person why I don't relate with the person so well is because of I think the person is actually a very, very arrogant fellow. But in that situation, I had to make sure that my friend doesn't get expelled while getting into a fight. So I came in as a mediator there. I told Mr. Master B that he never really matched people purposely. And you tried, and I told Master A for all at least just to make sure that he doesn't feel slighted. Master B doesn't feel slighted. You tell him sorry, and you also make sure that Master B understands that Master A didn't try to match you purposely. So that's an example of a narrative I can give as of now.
Very good. So exactly, I mean, this is what you're doing. I mean, look at that, Chijioke. They're already doing it. They know how to do it. What are you telling?
I'm happy. And he said without my impressed. He said it without my food. I'm impressed with his take.
Exactly.
And that's why I allowed him to. I'm impressed. I'm trying. That is the truth, bro. What I'm trying to. He sees me. He's my third child, and I have boys. Like I told you, he's a third boy. So he sees me, trying to reduce these things to writing. Tries to see at times when they ask, Daddy, all these efforts you're making, why is there nobody abroad? Because you already know that our system is already messed up. Yeah. Why is it that nobody abroad wants to sponsor you or see what you're doing? And I tell them it's just a matter of time. We keep trudging, and we see how it goes.
Yeah,
you want to talk?
Because
okay,
yes, hello.
Say hello.
How are you?
So, where are you come first?
But I'm going to ask you the same question I asked your brother. The question is, in your school, if there is a fight, is there someone who helps you resolve that fight? You have some friend like that?
No.
What about you? Do you come in and try to help them if your friends are fighting?
No.
you just keep fighting, is it? How do you stop the how do they stop the fight then? How does the fight stop? How does the fight stop?
He says the teacher comes.
Oh my God! They need the court system. They don't.
He says the teacher comes and I don't know about that, what we are just saying, you know.
So there must be a better way. If supposing your friends are fighting, would you not want to stop their fight?
If your friends are fighting.
I don't want to get involved.
Okay. Is there anyone who wants to get involved? Any other friend of yours who likes to get involved?
No.
Oh my God. Why? Why? Why?
So I had written to their school. Unfortunately, I don't know why their proprietors did not take heed to my letter. In fact, I wanted to start from, like they say, charity begins from home. I had written to their school to say, Madam, I do this program. Why don't you allow me to introduce? My children are here. All my children have passed through your school. Why don't you allow me to introduce this? Until today, the one has not got back to me.
Chijioke, we have to ask him. Why don't they want to get involved? I want to ask him that question because I want that answer. It's a very important answer.
Okay.
Why don't you want to get involved?
Want to get involved?
Why don't you want to get involved?
I don't have a reason.
Something must be coming on your mind that, and not just you, what about other people? No one wants to come in between the fight. What is the reason behind that? There must be some reason. I'm sure there's some reason.
What is the reason? Are you afraid of being beaten? Are you afraid of your teacher saying you prompted the fight? What is it?
Yeah, I'm afraid my teacher can just come in and say that
you're part of those fights.
yes.
Okay. So that means at the end of the day, there is no such friend or someone who can come in. Everyone wants to stay away.
Yes.
Because maybe the teacher is like that. If they're scared of the teacher.
Some of them are scared of the teacher, like me.
It's okay. Maybe some teachers are like that only. Yeah. So maybe, but all teachers are not like that.
Yes, some teachers are not like that.
So maybe we have to find a way. But what is your name? You didn't tell me your name.
Chijioke Ibeku.
You'll have to repeat that.
You have to repeat that. What's your name?
Chijioke Ibeku.
I'm Vikram. So we have to find a way. How can we help people solve their fights? Or what do we do? Don't look at your father, okay? Your answer. We don't want his answer. You want your answer. No, seriously, we want this answer. We want his answer. It's a very important answer. Because on one hand, he sees that the teacher is going to maybe scold them, so he doesn't want to get involved. So what is the way to go about it? We have to remove the teacher from the picture. We have to see, what do we do?
Okay. Normally, I could say that you guys should stop fighting.
But yeah. What else? Because the thing is, what I'm trying to think is that it is because if the teacher is that kind of a person who, whatever, if you're scared so much about the teacher, then definitely you don't want to get involved. So, but we have to find some way out of it also, because what you are doing in school is happening outside in the world also. People are maybe scared to come in between people who are fighting. So we have to find out why does it happen? How do we help them? So please give us some answers. You are the young people. You have to give us answers.
How can we change this situation? How do you think people will feel more comfortable?
Like by...
If you let him think about it, anything he says.
We must have, I think, Chijioke, we must have these conversations with them. You must have the conversations with him.
I agree.
His brothers.
And I never planned that the discussion will go this way. So this, and I'm listening to. This is an interesting perspective. Anything? How do you think it will go?
Testing the two of them.
So will you now start doing it more often?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm saying, I think the thing is that these conversations don't happen. And because of that, I think what happens is that the same thing just continues, like he's talking about being scared of the teacher. So
yeah.
if you go out to the school also and you tell them, look, there is a way where the children themselves can sort their problems out within themselves. But the teacher doesn't want to give control. They want to control things. So how do we make them? We have to make them understand that how this is important. So this is why we have to
That is
be
what
very.
I don't know how much of that is going on in India, but that is what I'm trying to introduce in.
Because I'm telling you that with the whole situation to change, everyone has to change. And for that, we have to have conversations with everyone involved, not just the children and the teachers, and everyone should be involved. Maybe they don't understand what yeah.
For the schools that have given me approval, they are all government schools. The schools that have gotten an approval to teach this, and they're excited about it. You understand? You know, and I don't know the difference between those of in your place between the government and between the government and the private schools. In Abuja here, they have not gotten the approval of private schools. The approval I've gotten is from the government schools. So for them in government schools, those of them they can do what they want to do, because it is presumed that most parents there do not have the wherewithal to make an issue with any teacher that disregards any instruction. But unlike the private, where parents pay a lot of money, they won't want to sit back and watch their children being bullied unnecessarily. So I got really interested, seeing that the government school teachers were really interested in this program. And that is what has really motivated me. You know, that I don't know if I mentioned it to you, over 750 schools in Abuja have keyed into this program. So, in other words, I'm starting with when the schools commence the schools were meant to start on Monday, but I understand my children tell me that they've shifted the resumption date to 20th of September. So when the school commences on 20th of September, I should be equipped to teach almost 120 almost 200 people, plus in addition to the coordinators, about mediation and peer mediation. And that is the pressure I'm under now, because they have given me the condition to say, okay, Mr. Chijioke, if you want us to do this with you, you have to pay our teachers stipends, because they will also have to spend extra hours. You have to give our children food, because when they close school, they want to go home. So if you say you're teaching them this, they have to, a lot of all these things are inputs. And because one is determined because of the positive ripple effects, I have to muzzle my way. I'm writing in short. I can't remember who I've not written to about this project. Anybody that is in my contact list, you say I've written to them about this project.
Well, so I'm waiting. No, Chijioke, I tell you how I'm looking at it. Maybe what you can do is to forget the government for the moment. Look, I don't even talk about the government, because that's a whole different process, and you'll get frustrated. So what I'm thinking is one way of going about it, because look, you have to reach large numbers. It is not going to be you going to schools and talking to them. You can't do that. Instead, what can be done is that, which is what I'm working on. We are going to make a short animation, a video animation, which is very simple language, which the children will understand. That video will be available. You can get someone to sponsor that video. Some large companies there. You can tell them, look, I'm promoting this message that people should use this peer mediation and all that concept. So working with people from all over the world to create a good presentation, maybe some large companies can sponsor that, because I'm going to be doing that, and then we can have it in various languages and we can put it out.
All right. Okay. That is the funny thing, like the unfortunate thing about my climb now is that the corporate bodies will not speak. They will not speak until the government speaks, because most of them get their benefits from the government. So if they see that the government is participating, they now come in to show a form of alliance so that they get more contracts from the government. It's a messy situation. So for those of us now, my escape routes, which will be divine, will actually be from my contacts abroad. People like you and my other contacts abroad who might say, okay, let us see how we can divert a source to Chijioke. But if I rely on these people here, if I'm not careful, I'll be frustrated with this program. But I know I'm not going to be frustrated. It's just a matter of time.
Perfect. I think the main thing is that two things have to happen. One, small video has to be made, and one you have to get some kind of a book. Not a book, a very small, like a cartoon kind of thing, that has to be distributed all over the country. So how many languages do people speak? What are the different languages?
Well, the major language in Nigeria is English, but you have Hausa, you have Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Efik, I think there are over almost 250. A lot of languages in Nigeria, really.
So largely all these school children and all, are they being taught in English?
They are being taught in English.
So if
That
there
is
is, okay, so if there is English, it will be read by or seen by all of them and they can understand.
that is the language that is the language that is being used mainly in Nigeria. That is the language.
Even in the rural areas and all, everywhere will be the same.
English.
Perfect. So that's one good thing. At least you only have to work in one language. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So we'll discuss this aspect. There is some we'll have, because at the end of the day, the whole funding definitely will have to happen because there is going to be a cost involved. But we'll work something out. We'll have to do something.
Okay. All right, Vikram. All right.
Perfect. So what else? Anything else interesting happening in your life? Please tell us.
Well, like I said, I'm so thrilled with the contacts I've made. I'm so thrilled with the contacts I've made via this mediation space. Even up to the extent I wonder, have I known these people before? Until the girls brought it to the fore, I said that, I'm so thrilled. I'm amazed that one can stay in his room or in his parlor, in his room, and reach out miles apart. People you've never even met, and somehow there's something in tandem people are discussing about. Something you can say, okay, you can reach out and say, how are you? It's so gratifying for someone like me. I can say, okay, I've not checked. Imagine I can say, okay, I've not checked in on this person for a while. I could just do a simple chat. How are you? And the person replies, oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm so happy hearing from you. It's so gratifying. You've never met this person, and maybe who knows, in a lifetime you might never meet the person. But it's so heartwarming. It's so heartwarming. I'm looking forward to a mediation. When this whole thing is, there'll be a kind of a seminar, a symposium that all mediators will be attending. I have a contact. Her name is Susan Nobek. She's she's top high. She's high there somewhere in Mediation Beyond Borders. I think there was a program that I think there's a program that Mediation Beyond Borders is supposed to run this year, but I think because of COVID, they've shifted it to next year. Whatever it takes, I'll try as much as possible to be there. It's been relaxing. It's been very, 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 very interesting. You're reaching out to people miles apart, having them to say, okay, the one that thrilled me and amazed me and amused me really was the one I did with the lady, the doctor. The passion. In short, what spoke for us that day was passion. I could see the excitement on her face as she was talking about health mediation, and and with her friends. That was enough for me, whether I understood what she was saying or not. Even though she said some little things in English, and we had some participants who also spoke English and who could speak, So, cutting across that border, that divide, that's enough for me. It's really interesting. Look at what we're doing today. We're discussing.
But what about with Mediators Beyond Borders? Is there something that they are getting involved in with you?
Yeah, I'm a member of Mediation. I've been trying to get across to them. They promised me severally that they'll get across. But all bureaucracies, you keep waiting until it breaks through. I was beginning to think, are they looking at the African net? Are they looking at it from the African perspective or the Nigerian negativity? But I've come across a lot of people. I've seen that they are taking me for who I am. I'm reaching out to them as my own person, and they are buying into what I'm doing. So I'm sure I believe that before the end of the month, I should have something positive from a lot of all these quarters.
Oh, yeah, because I don't know, what kind of work do they do? I haven't really got into what kind of work they do.
They do a lot of work mediation. Those people are at the forefront of Kenneth Cloak. You've interviewed Kenneth Cloak.
Yeah.
You've interviewed.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm having him sometime next week. I refer to him as the father of mediation. He was the founder of Mediation Beyond Borders. He's one of the founders.
I know. No, I'm just saying I never got into what kind of work they're doing because
they're doing a lot of massive work mediation wise. Well, they do a lot of sponsoring. And so I teased one of them and said, why wouldn't I reach my own point? People are not delaying on sponsorship. Well, they promised me that they'll get by for me, that they're evaluating what I'm doing, and they'll get by. So I'm believing them that I will soon hear from them. But they promote mediation, and anything that has to do with mediation, they promote.
But the way I'm going about my work is that what is happening in the court system, I'm not interested in. Okay. Because that's a different world. The institutions are definitely doing good work, so they are doing what they are doing. So as an individual, what I can do, I'm creating that thing. Same thing. I was looking at you in the same way, that as an individual, you are working as an individual. Institutions definitely are doing what they are doing, and I'm sure they're doing a good job. So we have to be doing it differently. Only then is there going to be a change? Because if the same thing is going on,
Vikram, what you're doing, I don't know how you managed to get this concept, because as the last time we talked, you hadn't gotten this concept. It must have been after. But what you're doing, to me, man, thumbs up. You're doing a great job. You're breaking barriers. You're cementing that relationship amongst mediators. And to me, you're doing wonderfully well. And I must say congratulations and God's grace continually.
No, thank you very much. And we'll keep having these conversations, and
I look forward to it. It's exciting and interesting.
Perfect. So I'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
We'll discuss some concrete proposals and all that. We'll do that. So
why not? I'm available anytime you call on me.
Perfect. So thank you, Chijioke. Thanks a lot, and thank your sons also for giving us time.
Thank you. My sincere condolences to your father-in-law's loss. Sorry for that.
Understand that. So basically, I think that we need a lot of conversations with your children
and their friends. And you're championing that. I'm also doing that in my own space.
Yeah,
we're doing well.
Friends and everywhere. Perfect. So thanks a lot, and I hope to see you soon. Right?
I've lost you.
So I'll see you soon then. All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.